who have been picked up from various teams, various functions, are representing the entire organization. In fact, the interest of the organization. Okay, so the change manager, whether he is part of my finance team, a senior executive, or maybe whoever he is not responsible for the finance function. He is responsible for the IT related requirement also to initiate. He is responsible for going out, taking feedback in the market for the product quality, product feature, pass it on to the relevant team, but be a driver there. So this is the kind of philosophy various organizations.
Okay. Vijay,
more of an equal, and so it is a little more expected or understood that the CIO is collaborating with business heads to get things done, and the vision and the ownership comes more from the business. In India, I think where IT and the understanding of what IT can do is at a more nascent stage, I think it is the CIO's responsibility, and only the CIO's responsibility, to initiate and to enable that change. So I actually think the CIOs in India, by definition, carry a much more expanded portfolio and a much bigger burden on our shoulders, where we have the responsibility to explain to the CFO, to the COO, to the marketing head, whatever it is, the quality head, what can be done by IT. So we have to take the technology background, understand the business well enough, then through conference room pilots or whatever mechanisms it might be, convince the business stakeholders that this is what this technology platform can do and should be doing for you. And at times we have to fight battles to get that done. But that's our responsibility. If we wait for the business to do it, given where IT is in our corporates, it will not happen. We will only be like a little bit more like a requirements gatherer, taking the order and implementing the wrong thing, and it will not get done.
thank you, Vijay. I know the ability for you to leverage the investments which you are making in business intelligence, right, solely depends upon the kind of imagination which you have, and that is what Mr. Ramani also pointed out. Let's take an example of, let's say customer churn, which is a huge area for telecom, for banking, where customers are being acquired by millions, right? I haven't found any customer who's actually churning out either from a bank or from a telecom operator without giving adequate, I would say, signal to an organization, be it form of email, be it form of voice calls, be it on web. Ironically, all the information, whether it's a voice call, it gets recorded. Whether it's email, it's tracked. Whether it's in web, it's kind of captured. But how many times have we thought as to, based on the comments which we are getting from the customer, let me create a vulnerability score of the customer and find out how vulnerable is that customer for me, so that in case if I have to churn out particular campaigns which will help me incentivize and retain him, I should do that. Now, just imagine if this is the kind of scenario for an industry which has got 30 million, 40 million, 80 million, 100 million kind of stuff. How are you going to do it without intelligence? You just kind of simply let it go and provide the kind of reports which you are providing today. So I think so none of the vendor can kind of help to that extent, and I've said that CIOs are the best guys to really explore what is the area where you want to embrace analytics. I can give certain examples, Ritesh can give examples. But they know their functions well, they know how the interdepartmental functions work, they know their industry. So I guess they are the best guys. We can just kind of help them. But I guess they are the best guys, they are the leaders. Okay. Comment here.
What I feel is, one is the initiative has to be taken by the CEO definitely, because CEO is the only person. One is he's got a cross-functional view of the business. Second thing is he understands technology. Plus he also knows where analytics can be used, how it can be used, or what are the critical area in a particular function where this can help. Now, instead of the CIO selling it on his own, what I feel is that whichever area that you feel analytics is very important, you take that business function, with you and help him to sell the case internally together in a collaborative way, rather than you trying to independently sell and then trying to, even if the credit goes to the business, you might as well get what you want to do. That's my opinion.
Thank you. One last question. Somebody has a question.
We started our dashboard journey about 2-3 years back. We deployed a lot of dashboards going by these ideas where, as a CIO, I went out and found out the areas where dashboards could be deployed. We had a big challenge in terms of getting the adoption going on. It took time, but then people started using it because we found it hard to understand. We were giving so much of information, but still people were not adopting it. one of the things that came out during our research was that, you know, while analytics give you a very good trend analysis and all that, but it is the insight, you know, which you actually get from that, which needs to get recorded. Now, what was happening was that these insights were getting distorted again and again at different levels. So, you know, that was one thing that came out, that especially as you went senior to the higher levels of the organization, they said, we don't have time to analyze all this. So we want the insights coming from the right levels. And, you know, people building on that. So somehow, you know, collaboration going along with analytics is what was looking like a, you know, viable solution. So what are your views on this?
Yeah, so I guess that's something which is very, very important. A couple of things which, right, I guess 3 years or 4 years back, everybody was talking about real-time computing and a whole lot of stuff. Like everybody talks about virtualization, right? Today, real-time computing is a given. It does not provide any kind of competitive advantage. Everybody is doing it. The reason why there is a need, or why BI or analytics is a strategic imperative, is because it offers a strong potential, right? And I'm very careful in terms of using a word potential, right? Because potential is till you harness that kind of ability. So it definitely provides you that kind of potential for you to kind of make a difference. Now, it's a given stuff that when that kind of scenario is there, there has to be a kind of collaboration and whole lot of stuff internally, or the tool needs to kind of provide that kind of stuff, which I guess most of the stuff which is available provides those kind of ability for people to kind of work on.
So, Ritesh, you will have the last word here. Not last laugh. I couldn't agree more. I think I get a feeling in the crowd that somebody is looking at BI as a magic wand, that, you know, it will find out everything that is there in the system and automatically analyze and provide me insights that, oh, do this, and then there are no easy answers, guys. There's no easy answers, there's no magic wand. First of all, we have to start with basics. First, let's identify what our objective is. In service provider industry, find out that you want to reduce churn. In banking financial, you want to increase cross-sell. Let's take objectives. Take one objective, make sure that all the data relevant to that is integrated, and then follow the model that we just talked about, analyze it, make sure that there is proper reporting, and then you will start getting insights. I don't think you can boil the entire ocean. You can't do some exabytes. I mean, I couldn't even understand that terminology. Exabytes of data in every organization. You just cannot do it. So one, it's all into our hands. We'll have to collaborate, integrate data up to the objective. Again, you know, in various organizations, the objectives also differ. A CFO looks at one objective completely differently. Subiksha wouldn't be a failure if somebody just looked at it from sales point of view. They were growing, they were doing everything that they could have properly done, but the cash flow was an issue. So somebody was not looking cash flow on their dashboard. So there was a business intelligence failure. So we got to look at which function wants to look at what data, integrate it together, and fulfill that objective. Start small and then succeed. Thank you.
Pramad, I got greedy. I thought I will use those 2 minutes which you gave me. Anyway, I don't want to say anything about SAS, but there are 2 good books on analytics, which probably, if you feel that that's something, if you really want to find out what are the areas where you want to leverage, one is Competing on Analytics, which is written by Thomas Davenport. He is a professor at Harvard Business School.
Thomas
Davenport.
Davenport.
Right, and he actually talks about how casinos in Las Vegas are using analytics to really kind of do a whole lot of cross-sell, upsell, and a whole lot of stuff. The second one is Power to Predict. It's written by Vivek Randive, who's also a CEO of TIBCO. Right? 2 good books. If you feel that you really want to find out what are the areas, how it impacts my industry, that's something which you may want to kind of look at. That's where I would
Thank you.
Thanks.